Hello, I'm Nicholas. I wanted to show some knots that you might enjoy. The first one is an ocean braid mat, which is a mat without too much useful purpose, largely decorative. There's many knots that are decorative, and you can get quite intricate with this. Sometimes when you get twists in the rope, it can form doesn't work out easily and doesn't lay the way you want it to. Lie the way you want it to. So you have to make sure that it holds correctly. So then, also the size is going to be the proportioning is going to be an issue. I don't want to take the time to show it, but essentially you would even all these out, so you get a nice knot. And then you would run another line through there alongside it and tighten it up so you get a nice looking knot. The next one, the more technical type of knots that actually has a purpose, and that would be the sheep shank, which is effectively bypasses the section of the rope, so that if it has a defect, if it's frayed, then you can put it in the middle here and it won't actually get pulled on. And another type is there's a lot of alterations of basic knots. So you have the basic bowline here, which it's not the way I usually tie it actually, but that's the way I did it in this case. You have the life preserver shape. There's a couple of other variations that go based off of that. So there's the bowline on a bite, which is a lot of knots have more technical names based on what they actually are. So in this case, you actually have, when you get the final product, is a bowline. You have the life preserver design here, except it's just doubled up. And then you also have other variations of this. There's the Portuguese bowline, which also creates two loops. However, they're adjustable in this case. When there's tension on both of them, they will not move against each other. So even if they're different sizes, tension on both of them won't move. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you.
Music boxes have within
There once was a monkey which made friends with a shark. There was a great tree which grew near the deep water. Half its branches were over the town and half over the sea. The monkey used to go every day and eat the fruit, and his friend the shark was there under the tree. He used to say, "Throw me some fruit, my friend," and he used to throw to him many days and many months. Till one day the shark said to the monkey, "You have done me many kindnesses. I should like for us to go to my home, that I may repay you for your kindness." The monkey answered him, "How shall I go? We don't go into the water, we beasts of the land." And the shark said, "I will carry you. Not a drop of water shall get to you." And he said, "Let us go." They went half the way, and the shark said, "You are my friend. I will tell you the truth." He said, "Tell me." "There are at home where we are going, our sultan is very ill. We have been told that the medicine for him is a monkey's heart." The monkey replied to him, "You did not do well to tell me there on the spot." The shark asked, "How so?" The monkey considered and felt, "My life is already gone. Now I will tell him a lie that may serve me." The shark asked him, "You have become silent. Don't you speak?" He said, "I have nothing to say because of your not telling me there on the spot, and I might have brought my heart." The shark asked, "Have you your heart here?" "Don't you know about us? When we go out we leave our hearts in the trees, and we go about with only our bodies. But you won't believe me. You will tell me I am afraid. Let us go on to your home, and kill me if you find my heart." The shark believed it, and he said to the monkey, "Let us go back now, and you get your heart." The monkey said, "I don't agree to that, but let us go to your place." He said, "Let us go back first and take your heart, that we may go on." The monkey considered, "I had better consent to him as far as the tree. I know what to do when I have got there." They went and returned to the tree, and the monkey climbed up and said, "Wait for me here, shark. I'm going to get my heart, that we may be off." He climbed into the tree and sat down quite still. The shark called him. He held his tongue. He called again and said, "Let us be going." The monkey asked him, "Let us go where?" He said, "Let us go to our home." The monkey asked, "Are you mad?" The shark asked, "How so?" The monkey said to him, "Do you take me for a washerman's donkey?" The shark asked the monkey, "What about a washerman's donkey?" He said, "That's what has neither heart nor ears."
If you are sensitive to topics regarding depression, you may not want to listen to this performance. Dangers of a Desolate Mind by yours truly. White, hollow, a few cracks filled only by space, where thought once crawled from. Infinite walls, so indefinitely shaped, formulate this room I'm in, this room I was brought to. Once this room was a home. Once this home had a garden where the native flowers grew and reveled in what they'd created. Thought shooed them away, injected them with terror and numbing liquid flooding from their roots as they shriveled. Thought chose to begin spitting on their parade. Thought killed them in its rampage as I projected out of myself, powerless, clinging to my physicality that was already disassociating itself from me. I don't live in this room, I inhabit it, and even in broad daylight, the once natives will often return and sob as they beg for thought to forgive them. They always sit overpowered. Thought once loved me. Thought once did me well. Did thought separate itself from me? Or did I separate from its hell?
"Cheer, master, what cheer?"
Good, speak to the mariners. Fall to ye, yarely, or we run ourselves aground. Bestir, bestir. Hi, my hearts, cheerily, cheerily, my hearts. Yar, yar. Take in the topsail, tend to the master's whistle. Blow till thou burst thou wind, if room enough. Good boatswain, have care. Where's the master? Play the men. I pray now, keep below. Where's the master, boatswain? Do you not hear him? You mar our labor. Keep your cabins. You do assist the storm. Nay, good, be patient. When the sea is, hence, what cares these roars for the name of king? To cabin, silence, trouble us not. Good, yet remember whom thou hast aboard. None that I love more than myself. You are a counselor. You can command these elements to silence and work the peace of the present. We will not hand a rope more. Use your authority. If you cannot, give thanks you have lived so long. And make yourself ready in your cabin for the mischance of the hour. If so cheerily, good hearts. Out of our way, I say. I have great comfort from this fellow. Methinks he hath no Johnny mark upon him. His complexion is perfect gallows, and stand fast, good fate, to his hanging. Make the rope of his destiny our cable, for our own doth little advantage. If he be not born to be hanged, our case is miserable. Down with the topmast! Yar! Lower! Lower! Bring her to try with main course. Ah! A plague upon this howling! They are louder than the weather or our office. Yet again! What do you hear? Shall we give o'er and drown? Have you a mind to sink? A pox o'er your throat, you bawling, blasphemous, and charitable dog! Work you then! Hang, cur! Hang you, whoresome, insolent noisemaker! We are less afraid to be drowned than thou art. I'll warrant him for drowning, though the ship were no stronger than a nutshell, and as leaky as an unstanched wench. Lay her a hold, set 2 courses off to sea again. Lay her off. Oh, lost! To prayers, oh, lost! What, be our mouths be cold? The king and the prince at prayers. Let's assist them, for our case is as theirs. I'm out of patience. We are merely cheated of our lives by drunkards. This wide-chapped rascal, would thou midst lie drowning the washing of 10 tides? He'll be hanged yet, though every drop of water swear against it, and gape at widest to glut him. Mercy on us! We split! Farewell, my wife and children. Farewell, brother! We split! Let's all sink with the king. Let's take leave of him. Now would I give 1,000 furlongs of sea for an acre of barren ground, long heath, brown furling, anything, the wills above be done, but I would fain die a dry death.
Once upon a time, there was a boy who lived in a big room. It had a kitchen for him to make food, and a bed for him to sleep, and a sink for him to brush his teeth. But what made the boy's room distinct was that it was only lit by 100 light bulbs that hung from the ceiling. Every day, the boy would make his bed, eat his breakfast, and brush his teeth. And then he would take a clean cloth and clean each bulb until there was not a speck dirtying the glass. He would do this every morning, and again each night after he got ready for bed, ate his dinner, and brushed his teeth. The boy was happy this way. Then one day, there was a woman in the room. He had never seen another person in his room before, and he was startled. "Excuse me," he asked. "What are you doing here?" "Oh," replied the woman, "I've just had a horrible time getting here." "I'm sorry," said the boy. "Is there anything I can do to help?" "Would you mind giving me one of your pretty lights?" she asked. "They look lovely, and taking one home would make me so much happier." The boy had never encountered anything like this. Not only had he never spoken to another person, but he had never been asked to give up his bulbs. Would the woman take care to clean each bulb every morning and each night? He decided to give her one light bulb, and the moment she had it in her hand, she vanished. He felt a small sadness in himself that mirrored the one spot in his room that had darkened without the light bulb. and part of him longed for her to return it. But I still have 99 left, he thought. It's better to take care of what I still do have. And so he took out his clean cloth and tended to the remaining bulbs before going to bed. Little did the boy know, however, that the woman had taken that light bulb home to light her own home in the village nearby. It was smaller than the boy's room, and the only light bulb there was so dim that she could hardly see. When she took out the old one and replaced it with the one the boy had given her, the light burst out of the room and onto the streets around her. Her neighbors asked one another, how did she get so much light? And they knocked on her door and asked. She told them that the boy had given her a light bulb and returned inside. The next day, the boy awoke to find dozens and dozens of people in his room, each asking for a light bulb and talking over the others. "I'll buy you a bunch of new clothes," cried one voice. "I'll give you a fancy watch for free," cried another. "I'll give you 100 coins," shouted a third. But the boy wanted nothing but to have his room to himself again. Besides, he thought, I have 99 light bulbs. They probably need them more than I do. And so he gave out his light bulbs, one by one, until there were only 4 left. His room, that had once seemed so big, now seemed impossibly small and dark, and he felt lonely and sad without them. In the village, meanwhile, people were celebrating with dancing and food and parade floats. It had been so long since they had had light that strong. So long living in the dark that they had had little energy to do anything for fun. Now people were making friends and singing with neighbors they had never been introduced to. But the boy didn't know that. He was cold and he didn't have the energy to make his bed or eat his breakfast or brush his teeth. Sitting at his kitchen table, he wasn't sure he had made the right decision, and he wanted everything to go back to how it had been before. Just then, a knock came through the wall just behind his ear. The boy jumped. He didn't know how the people who took the light bulbs had gotten in. Maybe this was it. Maybe his walls weren't as thick as he thought. "Hello?" asked a muffled voice on the other side. "Hello," called the boy. "Who are you?" "I'm your neighbor," the voice replied. "Can I come in?" The boy tapped around the wall, but he could find no way to open it. "I'm trying," he called back, though he was actually too tired to put much effort into it. "Can you come here on your own?" There was a brief silence until a crack opened in the boy's wall, letting in a kid with tousled hair with light pouring from behind. "Whoa," whispered the boy. "I never knew walls could open like that." Still, as excited as he was to meet another person his age, he still felt exhausted and alone. "Oh, wow!" exclaimed the kid, running over to where the last 4 hung from the ceiling. But the boy shuffled over to block the lights. He didn't want to lose any more. The kid seemed to realize this and took a step back. "Do you want to see my lights?" The boy frowned. "Your lights?" "Yeah," the kid replied. "I have lights just like these, 100 of them. I didn't know anybody else had them too. You can share them if you'd like." The boy was stunned. "But it wouldn't be fair," he protested. "I only have 4. I don't have anything valuable to offer you." The kid took his hand anyway. "It isn't about offering anything. It's about you being my new friend, and friends take care of each other." And so the boy made his bed, and ate his breakfast, and brushed his teeth, and gathered his bulbs and clean cloth, and followed his new friend to the 100 light bulbs beyond his room.
The Little Red Tree by me, Deanna Uninger. Once upon a time there was a little red tree. His name was Bob. A little boy played under the little red tree. He loved to lay under its branches, which were not very far from his face, and to gaze through its little red leaves to the sky. He loved to play with Bob's seeds, throwing them high into the air to watch them helicopter down to the grass. As the little boy grew, so did the little red tree. The growing boy loved to climb into Bob's branches, which also grew a little closer to the sky each day. One day, the little boy, who was not so little anymore, left his home and Bob, and didn't come back. Bob was sad. Soon after, strangers came and cut Bob down, leaving only a little red stump and a little red seed in the middle. Then one day, a little girl found the little red seed in the middle of Bob's stump and brought it home to her parents. Her parents helped her plant the little red seed to see what it would become. They watered it and fed it plant food, and they made sure that they had planted it in a place where it would get plenty of sun. One day, the girl was delighted to find that it had grown into a little red tree. Bob was surprised to find that he was no longer a little red stump anymore. The girl wasn't so very little anymore either. She had grown to a young woman and had brought a young man to meet her parents. When her parents took the two into their yard to see how big Bob had grown, the young man said, "I feel as though I've seen this tree before." Bob quivered its leaves in recognition. The young man hung on Bob's lowest branch and exclaimed, "I used to have a little red tree at my house, and I played under it all day." He was surprised to find his old friend in this new place. Together the young man and young woman sat in Bob's branches, marveling at their luck and looking forward to their future together. Happily ever after. The end.
Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory. Sleep, my darling, safe and sound, for in this river all is found.
In her waters deep and sure
lie the answers and a path for you.
dive down deep into sound.
But not too far or you'll be drowned.
Yes, she will sing to those who hear and pass on, oh magic voice.
But can you breathe what you most feel? Can you face what the river knows?